Hey, how you guys doing today? This is Ty from Ty's Auto Image and Sound. I got a GMC Sierra Extended Cab. It's from 2000. And we're gonna do some window tint on here. We're gonna do the carbon 18 on the front doors. 18 and 20 are pretty much the exact same thing, but just slightly lighter, or slightly darker, sorry. And in the back, we're gonna do some carbon 5, make it nice and dark. So I already have my tint all cut out and ready to go. So first thing we're gonna do is just prep the vehicle. So as you can see, there's a sticker here. We're gonna remove that sticker. Look at the sticker, it's disintegrating as I remove it, but that's okay. Look at that. I don't know if you can pick up the dust in here, but I mean, look at that. That's all the powder from the sticker. No worries, that's why we remove it. Get the window nice and clean. Someone's car alarm's going off outside. Not my problem. Actually, I don't even think that is an alarm. I don't know what that is. Something out there is chirping though. Okay, so that's a nice clean window. Let's go ahead and clean the back as well. We'll just go ahead and clean the outside first. Okay, so this door is a little tight. There we go. All right, let's go to the other side. And we'll repeat the process. We got a sticker here. Look at that, just disintegrating, creating dust. Definitely not the tinter's friend, but I mean, that's okay. A little bit down there, there we go. I'll just wipe all that down. Okay, keys are still in it, so we're just gonna lower the window and clean the top. Let's open this side. Just closing that for a moment. Spray it down and wipe it. Okay, that's done. Let's go ahead and prep the back window. Same thing, spray down the outside. Clean that up real nice. Now let's open the door, or open the window, sorry. Don't think it matters, but I may have forgot to spray the other side, but I wiped it down anyway, so it's fine. This is just the initial prep, so. Okay, so we're gonna leave the back for now. Once we get started in the back, that's when we'll prep, we'll do it all together. So for now, we'll just leave that as is. We'll do the 4 doors and continue from there. So, I may have cut myself. Extra blood just on the house. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the side windows here. So I'm just gonna close it slightly, just so everything's in front of me, so I'm walking less. Now, as you can see, everything here is pre-cut, ready to go. If you need a video on how I cut everything, I can leave a little link at the top. How do they do it on YouTube? Somewhere up there. And we're just gonna get everything prepped and shrunk. Now, the majority of these trucks don't need to be shrunk. It's always good to double check. So we put the piece of tint on the outside, as we usually do. Same thing with this one. Excellent. Okay, so you can already see a lot of things are popping up here. This one was cut up and down. We pulled the roll out and it was cut out side to side, I should say. So I want to shrink up and down. Oh, look at that, it's creating a big finger for me, which is fine. Because if you look at it, by doing that, the fingers are gone. Still, I like to get something going on there just in case. It's better to remove something before it happens. So this one now I flipped just so it fits properly in on the film. Got a 40-inch roll, and this is a little longer, so. So what I want to do is bring everything to the side here. Now, like I said, these don't really need much shrinking, but I mean, there is the minor thing here and there. And that's why I like to prefer to throw on a little bit of a shrink before I do anything. So we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and shrink this. So if you guys see in other videos my snap technique, we're just gonna do that on the side now. Usually I do it downward, but since it's shrunk this way, since it's cut this way, sorry, we're gonna do it this way. Now you can see it's starting to curve. That's what you want. So, I mean, like I said, this is really flat, so you don't need to do too much. Yeah, see, that's more than enough right there. More than enough. And if there's any extra, you can go hit it right there. So like I said, this one doesn't need much shrinking, but we're gonna shrink it anyways. Bring it down to the bottom here. Like I said, we don't need anything special. Oh yeah, more than enough. If you want to, you can hit the top. It's not necessary, but I mean, you want to ensure there's no fingers or anything like that. Like I said, that's not even necessary. So let's go ahead and install these pieces now. I put in a new blade, and for some reason, still getting a little bit of an issue, but I mean, that's fine. We're weeding this out anyway, so we don't need it. Let's see if I can just pick this off right here. Yes, I can. Ooh, that's on there. Okay, I'm not gonna risk it and rip it. We're just gonna cut it off right here. Perfect. Is there one on top here? No, there's not. Okay, so that's ready for install. Oh, having a bad plotter day. Fortunately, it's just certain areas that it's not cutting properly. It seems to be this one was at the top, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just trim those little extras here. This one right here. You probably can see that red light flashing. That's from the GoPro that I have strapped to my head. Trying to make videos for you guys, show you what I do, showcase my abilities, create a database. That way, if you have a vehicle and you look for someone to do some work on it and you see that I've done that work, chances are I'm the guy you're going to give a call to. So that's my goal with these videos. So let's go ahead and start the installation here. Let's just make a little bit of room here. Okay, so remember there's something called gravity, so you want to start from the top, work your way down. Shouldn't have to tell you that. I mean, that's common sense, but you never know. Maybe somebody out there isn't aware of gravity. Perhaps they need to do a little bit of studying up on Isaac Newton. Okay, so that's all ready to go. Don't need to soak it, just spray it down. The same thing with this side here. We're just going to start peeling. So we're going to peel from the bottom to the top. Okay, so let's bring it inside now. Oh, that's perfect right there. Get a little bit of a spray on the outer side here, and then just hold it in place. Make sure there's no light gaps. Same idea. I'm going to start from the top, go towards the outer edges, and then when I get about halfway, I'm going to start bringing it down. As you can see, it's starting to curve this way, and that's exactly what you want. Perfect. One more. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Let's get the big red machine and let's give it a hard squeegee now. Get as much water out of that as possible. Then the same idea, bring it down and out. And that is a finished tint. And that toilet is super annoying. But in the new year, I'm getting a new one, so I just gotta hold out and wait for a bit. For now, every 5 to 10 minutes, that's just gonna go off. Look at that, complete. Go ahead and close that and just give it a wipe. Oh yeah. Excellent. Okay, now we'll do the front. Same idea, pump up your trigger gun here, spray it down. Now this one I use a couple different tools, as you know. My Platinum Easy Reach, my yellow Conqueror, and my Black Fusion. First thing I do is get the top cleaned up here, get the sides, the bottom, and the side, and bring everything to the outer edge. Okay. Take the Conqueror and just bring everything from the edges down. And then we're just gonna bring everything, the bottom outward, and then wash everything out real quick. So yeah, I like to spray everything down, and then we're gonna wash out the outer edges here. Bring everything to the bottom. Remember, gravity's gonna bring it all down, let it drop. Making sure we get a nice clean window. Ooh, this window is a little tight there, but that's okay. I'm just gonna lube it up with some water, some soapy water. Okay, install time. So even though we shrunk this a little differently, we still install it the same way. Start off from the outer top here and just pull it down. Okay. You got to be patient with the film because sometimes it's going to catch, like touch itself and stick together. Sometimes it's going to move around and whatever else. So, I mean, you got to be patient. Take your time with it, let it fit in the right spot. Look at that. That's a perfect fit. Maybe just a bit off. Nope, right there. Right there's perfect. Oh yeah. That's the perfect spot right there. Look at that. Just in the edges. Okay, so we're gonna start with the black fusion. Just making sure that it's not touching the edge, because if it is, it's gonna pick and it's gonna peel. And as you can see, it's not picking or peeling there, so we will squeegee it down. I will squeegee it down. So I noticed a bit of a nick there. We're gonna resolve that by giving it a little cut right here. There we go. It's not necessarily what I want, but it still gives it a nice perfect look. So that's exactly what you want. So go ahead and squeegee that all down. We'll use the bigger machine for this one now. Let's go over it one more time with your hands. Just make sure that's not gonna pick and peel, because if it's not gonna do it with your hands, once it goes up in the seal, it is not going to do it as well. Making sure that it stays perfect forever. Perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring everything up. Okay, we can take the key out for now. Don't need it. Now I'll spray down the bottom piece of the glass here, clean it up. All right, let's tuck this in now. Tucks in right at the bottom, perfect. Okay. So all I have to do is just come to the edge, bring that down to the bottom, and I like to tuck everything at the bottom this way first. That way you ensure you don't get any fingers at the bottom. So remember, this was tinted, it was shrunk this way. And that's why you want to make sure that nothing happens going this way. Oh yeah, look at that. Now that I got that going, we're gonna bring everything to the side now. Perfect. Now with anything that does come to the edges, this is what we can shrink out. So that's what you want. You want to make sure everything comes this way. Have nothing down here, nothing on the sides, nothing at the top. You want it all on the long side here. So let's go ahead and get our big rim machine. Go over it one more time. Look at that, looks fantastic. You can see these lines here. That's all the moisture needs to come out. Just give it a squeegee and that sends it right to the edge. Now, I'll have to get the blue Conqueror. It's a little bit thicker, as you can see. And the idea here is to ensure that that pushes everything down. If you want to look at the differences here, this is a lot thicker, and this is thinner right at the top especially. And that works well for getting into these deeper crevices, whereas this one's a little tight, or a little larger, and that will help push more water out. So, look at that. Bring that down there. Then you take this one, go down to the bottom here, and because it's thick over here, the farther you get, the better it is. Now I think I got a little farther there, I heard a little dirt, but that's nowhere where the tint is, and that's perfectly fine. Look at that, it's a beautiful looking tint. So wipe it all down, move on to the other side. See, look at this, the fabric of old school vehicles. It just dries up immediately. Today's age, it just like sticks to it and almost looks like some kind of Scotch Guardian looking thing. And all it does is cause issues with the fabric. Even the plastic, like you have soapy water and it stains everything. It's a temporary stain. It wipes away and dries up 10 minutes later, but I mean, there's an initial stain immediately when you're using it. And it's just soapy water. But look at this plastic. No stains at all. Sometimes old school is the best way to go. But all right, that's all finished. All right. That's 2 windows down. Let's go ahead and just have a look at everything. Make sure everything is good and everything is looking awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and move over to the driver's side. All right, and we're just gonna rinse and repeat everything we just did. Like I said, tint's already cut out. Let's give it one more wipe. Slowly close everything because I want to make sure I can open it still. Let's wipe this down one more time. And let's go ahead and get our tint. All right, so the same idea. Since we know this is going to shrink just fine, we're going to bring everything down to the bottom here. Same thing with this side. We know it's going to shrink just fine. Let's start at the bottom first. Something happened down here, but I can fix that. That's no problem. So look at that. More than enough. All right. As you can see, this is an advanced technique. It doesn't work for everybody. But when you know what you're doing, once you got it figured out, it's all good. Okay, so let's remove the excess. Perfect. Yeah, that's something I could just shrink out upon installation. Okay. And now we go and install it again. So, top to bottom. You can go left to right, right to left, whatever, but go top to bottom. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring that inside. Perfect. Make sure there's no light gaps. And then the same thing to squeegee it up, top to bottom. Oh, it started to move on me there. I saw that. Caught that in time. All right, so squeegee it out. And then the same thing once you get to halfway, bring it down and squeegee it out. And as you can see, it's a little bit resistive, but I mean, if you're fast enough, you use both your hands, everything comes out perfectly. Okay, give it a hard squeegee with the big red machine. Bring that down. Same thing, bring this side down. And complete. Another window finished. Let's wring out the towel real quick. One more wipe down, we'll close the door. Okay, that's done. Wipe it all down, get it nice and clean. Wipe the outside as well. Okay. Now we do the front door. Once we're done that, all we have to do is the back windshield and a visor strip. Now, this vehicle is a little older, and the software, unfortunately, did not have a cutout. Fortunately, I'm talented enough that I can just cut out a piece on my own. So, that is exactly what we'll do. So in the meanwhile, we are just going to do the doors here. We'll take care of that later. Okay, so that's all wiped down. Everything from the front to the back. Perfect, okay. Get that in there, get that down there. Toilet goes off again. And then just wash everything down. Wash at the edges there, perfect. See, this one cooperated just fine. Perfect. Look at that. Right to the edge. Oh, I went a little high up there. That's okay. Just go ahead and tuck that in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. A nice edge. Oh, this side's a little off, if you can see that. Oh, look at that. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. Oh, that is beautiful. Let's go ahead and squeegee that out. Okay, so this is looking good. All right, put the key back in and lift this window up. Window's rolled up. I'll take the key out so it doesn't chime and drive us crazier than the toilet. Pick that out a bit and pick that one out a bit. Perfect. Okay. Same thing before. Just lift that up a little bit, spray the bottom. Oh, I see a hair here. Let's get rid of that. Now we're just gonna squeegee the bottom and then spray it down one more time. When you lift the tint, when you lift the glass up, sometimes it's bringing up some dirt underneath the gasket here, and that's why you want to give it that squeegee. All right, look at that. All right, so let's just do the same thing we did last time. Get our yellow Conqueror. And we're gonna start on this corner here. I like to stick the easy reach in first, just to ensure that this is not gonna grab anything. It's just gonna go right underneath, see, right in there. And then we can just start bringing everything to the edge. Oh yeah. Look at that, that's perfect. In fact, that issue I had at the bottom is not even there. Score 1 for Ty. All right, so let's go ahead and just finalize that. Yeah, see, it was a little tight, but or a little overshrunk, but that's okay. It wasn't too overshrunk that I was gonna fight me too much. Just need a little bit extra push to get in the right spot, and it's perfect. Look at that. Let's get Big Red Machine here one more time. Now you can see I'm overlapping my squeegee patterns here, just overlapping it, because you want to make sure when you do that, it's creating bubbles, right? So you want to make sure that when you do that, you push everything out. So as you can see, I created these, and that's why you want to overlap everything. That way you don't leave something in the tint, leave it behind. It all gets pushed out evenly. And look at that. Let's get the blue Conqueror. Get that into the edge here, right down to the bottom. Same thing on this side, from the top down to the bottom. Let's get our yellow one, and we'll go this side, front to back. Bring that in there deep. Just get it like that, and there you go. If you want to, even you can just quickly hit it with your easy reach, just to ensure all is good. And everything looks good. Okay. Doors are complete. Perfect. Go ahead and close the door, and now let's just wipe it all down, make sure everything looks good. And yeah, that looks fantastic. Oh, hell yeah. And it looks like I'm still recording, perfect. Okay, now that that is all done, we're gonna do the back window. So let's get ourselves into a good position here. Make sure this is open. Look at that difference between the pieces of tint. No tint, tint. No tint, tint. Tint and tint. No tint, sorry. So as you can see right through that, no problem, even though it's factory tinted. You can see through that, but it has the 20% on it. And now you got the 5 in the back here. So as you can see, I got my roll right here, and we'll deal with that later. Right now, we want to just prep the back. So, damn, we gotta make sure that we're in a good position. So we're gonna move that forward. Take the tools you're gonna need. I know I'm gonna need these. So put them on the floor right there. Same thing, let's move that forward. Now, I like these pickup trucks because there's plenty of room to get in, plenty of room to get out. Okay, So I'm just gonna quickly check to make sure these things can come out, and if they can't, I leave them alone. There we go, look at that. Just slid right out. Same with that side. Excellent, okay. So hopefully there's enough light in here that the camera can pick this up. But right now we're just spraying down the outer, or the inside of the window, wiping it down. Unfortunately, this is a nice clean truck, so I don't have to worry about anything just flipping up in the air. Sometimes you just, you know, you hit it and all of a sudden there's dust. And I perhaps just created some dust there, but I'm in the process of cleaning. I'm okay. Let's go ahead and just squeegee that down. I like to go to the middle. Now these things can be a little tricky. That's why I like to just get this done in a certain way. So hopefully the camera caught that. And if it didn't, I'll try it on the other side one more time to show you. Here, let me get in a little closer as I'm caught. There we go. Okay, so top to bottom, using my inferior hand. Now there's something white here, but that's on the outside. Since it's on the outside, it doesn't affect us. There we go. Now we have just a little bit here. So I'm gonna use my inferior hand. We're just gonna push everything out. I'm gonna push that down, and then I'm gonna push that down. Okay. Now, let's head back outside. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is get this piece of film ready. Gonna get the glass board nice and wet. And we're gonna slowly start bringing this tint up. Okay, so that's not gonna work. We'll make it work this way then. Well, that fits. So we're just gonna take the excess off first, and then we're gonna squeegee it all down. And of course, plotter is being stupid. Oh, doing good over here. That's good. There's a piece here that I want to remove first. There we go. That's exactly what I want. I guess it's on the straight edge here that it's causing a bit of an issue, and that's fine. It just wants to stick to me. Okay, and it looks like I'm gonna have to cut this off, and that's no problem. I just have to line it up, find that cut, and follow it with my knife. Worst comes to worst, you can just do that. See it much better. Excellent. Now, 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, that doesn't happen. But when the odd time comes and it does happen, I mean, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and peel this back. Probably should have pumped the sprayer a bit more, but I mean, I'll pump it in a moment. Okay. Okay, so now we'll roll it up and do a reverse roll install. I'm just gonna make sure what side's well, and we're gonna start on the passenger side, roll it towards the driver's side. So considering this is gonna be the passenger side and that's gonna be the driver, so we're gonna roll from this side. There we go. Okay, back in the truck we go. Window's dry right now, and that is fine. Now, this window is flat, but it also may need a little bit of shrinking, and that's fine. First thing we're gonna do is get everything inside installed, and then find the fingers that do appear and eliminate them. Or as they say in The Shining, we correct them. Look at that, it's a nice fit. Toss that to the side. We're just gonna make sure everything fits in here, which it does. Look at that. Oh, gotta move you a bit. That looks good right there. Oh. Yeah, it looks good too. That looks very good. Okay. Go ahead and do that real quick. And let's get our black fusion here. And start at the top. You can see it's pushing everything this way, and that's exactly what we want. We're taking all of this and we're pushing it down. Okay, once we got that going, I like to get to about that much on the bottom, about 1/3 of the bottom. So we're squeezing just the 2/3 of the top, left to right, inside to out, however you want to please. And now let's just do the same thing on this side. We're gonna leave the bottom third. The third. And then Kramer throws up. Okay. Something fun for you Seinfeld fans out there. I left my towel out there. That's okay, we'll get it later. Go ahead and squeegee all that out. Okay, good. Now we'll just bring everything down. All right, same thing on this side. All right, that looks good. So now I see a finger here, which is fine. A lot of times this will just pop out on its own. There's a couple of things here, and that's fine. Let's just squeegee it out. Okay, now that I forgot my towel, let me go grab that. There's one right there, got it. And it looks like that side's okay too. Okay. Let's go ahead and push these things back in. All right. Let's gather the tools and bail out for now, because now it's time for the windshield. And like I said, I have to make my own, because the truck's a little old, and unfortunately they didn't make a cutout for it, and that's totally fine. All new vehicles all have these things. Older vehicles, not so much. But when you're trained to tint with a knife, I mean, you can do anything you want. You can make anything happen. So since I've been trained the old school way, the new school way won't hold me back. Oh, that looks so good. Let me just put everything back the way it was, or as close to. Perfect. Okay, so minus the windshield, this vehicle is done, and it looks awesome. But before we can actually say it's done, we gotta go ahead and clean the inside and the outside of the windshield. Start installing that piece. Okay. So I'm missing my step ladder. Going through renovations, so the shop's a mess, but well, I'm a one-man show. I can only do so much while I work. But bit by bit things change. As you can see, the TV's now up. I have a rack up here. This is gonna be going up eventually, and we have to build more racks, take down all this, move it around. It's a big process. And when you're tinting windshields, or sorry, tinting vehicles while you work, sometimes it gets in the way. But hey, you can't run a business when you're not working on cars, right? Okay, so I don't need to fully clean it, but I need to clean the top 100%. Now we had a cutout for it. We just install it, we're good to go. But like I said, unfortunately, there isn't one. Or you know what? Maybe I'm crazy. Let's have a look. Oh, well, there is a cutout. Well then, maybe I will use it. Question is, how far down am I gonna go? Yeah, if we go right to that mount, we should be good. There's a mount piece there. And there's a mount piece there, okay. That's curved, that one's not curved. Let's go with this one here. Oops, open up a new one, try it again. All right, so yeah, we don't need that one. Oh, I wish I saw that earlier. Well, since there is a cutout, we'll use it. What I like to do is just go a little bit longer than that. So I'm going to edit it. I like the software Core from Eastman Chemicals. So if we give it 1/4 of an inch, let's do 1/2 an inch right there. Go ahead and apply that. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Okay. So I'm just gonna grab an old piece of tint here. I got a bunch of them that are meant for the pickup trucks because they're a little bit longer than a car. I gotta find the right film here. 55-inch visor strips, pickups, 5%. That's the one right here. Okay. Well, it says 55 plus, so let me see here. This is 59. Hold on a minute, this can't be right. Well, we're gonna check it out, make sure it's good. That 3M tape. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Battery died on me. Totally fine, because at least you're not seeing the eternal struggles that I just went through. So I got a piece of tint cut out. Turns out the software had something. So we're just gonna go ahead and install this piece and call it a day. Okay. There it is. There's a piece here that I cut out, and that's exactly what we want to remove. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see what we need to do to remove the mirror. So it looks like there's a screw there, but it's dark, so it's really hard to see. No, come on. It's looks like a T20 bit, so that should come off fairly easy. I was just using the T40 recently. T20, sorry. to install all these screws into the wall. So perhaps I put this back in my tool chest. My thoughts were correct. Okay. Okay. So here's an area where things are not going to roll around. Look at that. Just pop that out. We can even just let that hang. Not a big issue. Something dropped though, and I smacked my head against that. Hopefully all is good. It's still recording. Yes, it is. And of course, it's so dark now that the tint's on here, I can't see what was dropped. Oh, come on. Okay. I believe it was the plastic from the other side. Let's go grab that real quick. Aha, here it is. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab the things we need, which is these two squeegees. So I'm just going to remove it because hanging's fine, but you pretty much want this stuff out of your way. Okay, so just get comfortable. And we're going to spray the windshield. We're low on water, but we have just enough to get the windshield done. So go ahead and wipe that all down. Now I'm just getting rid of the excess at the bottom because there's electronics and all that stuff down there. It's not really an issue, but I mean, if you soak it to death or something, I mean, that's a different story. With these visor strips, you're not soaking it. Still, there's beads of water. Wiping it down always, this is good to ensure nothing happens. Okay, so that's done. This mat is actually moving on me, causing an issue on balance. Visor strips are painful. They're always a stretch. Okay, so peel that back. So yeah, I don't know if the camera cut off before I set it, but usually with older vehicles, there's no cutouts for these visors. And I've done many of these to know that there isn't a cutout, but it seems there was a cutout for this one. So they must have done an update or something. So that's the passenger side, which is where we want to end. Or sorry, that's the driver's side. This is the passenger side, and that's exactly what we want. So yeah, fortunately I got a cutout, makes life a little easier. Okay. So I'm sliding around. This doesn't make life easy. So it is what it is. Okay. So go ahead and unroll it. I'm leaning on the steering wheel here. Alright, let me just double check that the GoPro's still working. Smacked my head a couple of times there. My apologies. Okay. Okay, so there is one small issue. You can see the gap at the top. That's okay, we're gonna resolve that. See what I mean by software being a bit of an issue sometimes? Oh, I keep hitting my head. Got a GoPro on top of my head. You forget that you have a little less space to move your head around. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that. Now, we have a little bit of a flap here, or we will. There we go, a little bit of a flap. So now, as we smack our head again, we just go ahead and bring that up to the top, and look at that. Now we're good. Now we got a bit of a gap there, but that's okay because the base of this is gonna go on top and cover all that up nicely. So, just to confirm. Yep, covers it up. Perfect. So we're gonna leave that there. We'll leave that there. Okay. A little bit larger on that side. That's fine. We'll trim that off. Let's go ahead and squeegee this down. Oh yeah, that's what we want. Okay, looks good. Even that looks good. That little flap we are gonna cut off in a bit. Okay, looks good. So yeah, I have a little excess here. Go ahead and just cut that off. Looks great. We're gonna give it a hard squeegee now. Starting from the bottom, just working your way out. Perfect. All right, same thing. Bring this one out. And right down to the bottom. Perfect. Now I gotta go to the other side and cut a bit there. That's okay. First thing we're gonna do is wipe all this down. Okay. We'll leave all that there for now. Oh, sorry guys. Keep smacking my head. Or smacking the GoPro at least. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to the other side. Okay. And look at that from the outside here. That looks fantastic. Just gonna wipe this all down one more time. Okay. Get the trusted knife. And let's just give it a bit of a nick. Got a bad angle here. Steering wheel's kind of in my way. No worries. That's perfect. Didn't need to actually cut it. It's even better. So I do need to cut that still. We'll cut that in a moment. First thing I want to do is get rid of the excess here. Perfect. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so we are done. Just got to wipe it all down, clean it up, put the mirror back on, and bring it outside, take some pictures, I guess. So let's keep going. So, there we go. Let's go over one more time with the squeegee. Okay. With that done, we are going to just put everything back together. Oh yeah. And then that went in like so. Look at that, that's awesome. So the mirror just needs to be adjusted for the driver, but that's okay. Okay, look at that. Looks beautiful. All we gotta do now is just clean the windows. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I have my paint protection film solution here. This is what I use to do the windows, to clean them up and everything. So we're gonna start on the back. Oh, look at that, nice and dark. Darkness is spreading. Okay. Darkness is spraying, Charlie Murphy. Okay, that was good. Okay, perfect. Okay, give that a spray. And wipe it down. Nice and clean. Spray the outside of that one. And we can move this seat back. Oh yeah, fantastic. We got a couple of things here, but that's on the outside of the glass. It's an older vehicle, so you're gonna expect a few things here and there, but that doesn't matter. As long as the tint is installed properly, that is the only thing that matters here. Those little things don't affect me at all. Oh yeah. Give it a bit of a spray on the outside and wipe that down. It's a nice, gorgeous day outside today for a winter day. There's supposed to be a big storm that was going to come on Friday. And according to the news, it was going to kick all our asses. Meanwhile, here in Oakville, Ontario, Canada, we seem to be living in some kind of an anomaly where we barely got anything. I hear some places got whiteouts even. We got nothing. Compared to what we were supposed to have, yeah, this was nothing. I'll take it. I mean, beats the hell out of shoveling. So because it's a nice day, I'm going to clean the outside of the windows too. But if it were a rainy day or something, I'd just skip that. All right, so I see a spot up top. I'm gonna grab my squeegee and just fix that real quick. Perfect, fixed. You gotta have a meticulous eye with window tint. Okay. Looks phenomenal. Okay. Outside glass we clean real quick. And then we'll clean the windshield. I'm not going to clean the outside of the back window just because you got to get into the bed and possibly move some things around. Don't think it's that big of an issue. These are the ones that matter the most, especially the windshield, so I'm going to focus on those. But that looks great right here. Okay, it looks good. Let's go ahead and clean that windshield. I wiped it down first, but I thought I had to hand cut it. Turns out I didn't need to at all. That's fine. All right, I'm gonna stay on this side and I'm just gonna get the driver's side of the windshield cleaned. Then we'll move on to the passenger side. Move the mirror over a bit. Oh, the acid reflux is burning a hole in my stomach. Cleaning windshields is a major pain in the ass. Got a steering wheel in your way, you're trying to reach. They've made some wands that you can actually do it. Clean it properly, but that's the problem. Sometimes they don't work. Okay. Look at that, no windshield, or sorry, no steering wheel in my way. Makes this a lot easier. And now we just have to clean the outside of the windshield and we're done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, about to call it quits here. We're almost finished. I'd just like to take the moment to say thank you for watching. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Doing everything I can to grow on YouTube and all that. And your support will help me. So if you can, please like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those fun things you do on YouTube. And yeah, that looks great. I see a little bit of a smudge on the inside of the glass. Doesn't make much of a difference, but I'm meticulous, so I want to get that out of here. Oh yeah, I see that. Oh yeah, much better. Let's go over the mirror one time. All right, we are done. Let's bring it outside and let's get some pictures. Actually, I gotta clean up real quick. Okay, so the keys are on my little bench here. My cart, I should say. Let's clear the area. We could take this off to not covering up the license plate anymore. All right, let's open the garage doors, bring it outside. Shop is a little tight, so just gotta put the mirrors in. Adjusting my hat. So let's bring it outside. Take some pictures and call it a day. So right there, yeah, look at that, nice and clean. All right. Okay, gotta make sure this side's good. Looks like we are. The issue of having one lack of mirror. Perfect. So let's bring it into the middle here and take some pictures and a walk around and talk about all the work that got done today. That's a tight squeeze, but that's okay. Oh, that's a nice clean windshield. Look at that. Okay, so we're just going to park the vehicle right here and let's walk around real quick. So as you can see from the inside, the darkness is in the back, the lightness is in the front. Perfect for visibility and for legality. In the back you can go as dark as you like, so it gives you protection if you have tools in the back or just want to protect your family. Okay, there you go. So this is what it would look like from the outside. Carbon 18 on the front, carbon 5 on the back, carbon 5 on the back windshield there. So you can see that white mark there, that's just some paper it looks like, or some tape. 5% on the rear and 18 on the front. And then on the front windshield here, we did a visor strip. And we used the carbon 5 on that. And it looks fantastic. So this is gonna last a lifetime. And it's going to protect against peeling, it's going to protect against the solar rejection, the heat, and from infrared protection and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic product. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow, and I'll see you in the next video, which should be coming up any moment. Take care.